नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि व बाद। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। रब्बना ज़िदना इल्मा। आमीन या रब्बल आलमीन। Welcome to our new lesson, lesson 27, and we have been doing Jumla Failure. We have been learning about fail. So let's learn about Jumla Failure when it is used as a khabar. So let's begin. We learned that there are three main components of Jumla Failure: fail, file, and maf'ul. Let's have a recap about Jumla ismiyya and Jumla failure because it is very important when we are using Jumla failure as a khabar. We learned that there are two types of Jumlas in Arabic language: Jumla ismiyya and Jumla failure. Jumla ismiyya, as the name suggests, it starts with an ism. It has two main components, mubtada and khabar. And we learned that the mubtada is generally definite while the khabar is indefinite. That means the mubtada is ma'rifa and the khabar is nakira. So this is a very important information about mubtada and khabar, that mubtada should be ma'rifa and khabar should be nakira. And they both just match in the properties. So here there is an example in Jumla ismiyya about mubtada and khabar. At-talibu mujtahidun. The student is hardworking. Here, at-talib is the mubtada and mujtahidun is a khabar. Al-kalimani saminani. The two pens are expensive. Al-muallimuna hadiruna. The teachers are present. So here, these are mubtada and khabar for Jumla ismiyya because our sentence is starting with the ism. Then we learned that if the khabar is descriptive noun, then the khabar agrees the mubtada in gender and in the number. So here, al-kitabu mufidun, al-mu'minatun qanitun, and al-muslimu sadiqun. Alif, ba, and jim columns, you can see here that this is muzakkar, then our khabar is the descriptive noun and which is matching with the our mubtada. That is also muzakkar. So here al-mu'minatu, you can see here that our mubtada is a feminine noun, a feminine ism. So the descriptive noun or its khabar is matching in its properties. And this is also a feminine noun, or you can say feminine descriptive noun. Al-Muslimu Sadiqun, here again, Muzakkar and Muzakkar, the Mubtada and Khabar both agrees in the properties. This is also singular, singular, singular. You can see here, they all agree in the properties. Al-Kitabani, this is Musanna, Mufidani, this is also Musanna. And what is, how can you recognize that these are Musanna? This ani ending or the combination will tell us that they both are Musanna. Al-Mu'minatani, Anitatani, here again, ani sound, and here Mubtada and Khabar both agrees in the gender and in number. Al-Muslimani, Sadiqani, here again, both are Muzakkar and they agrees in gender and number. The last one, Al-Kutubu Mufidatun, here, Al-Kutubu is Ghair Akil and it is Jama Mukassir Salim. So here, this is not, you can say this is broken plural, Ghair Akil, and it is not Salim. So here it also agrees, and when we have a broken plural, we call it a singular and we consider it as singular noun, and that is why the descriptive noun is agreeing in number and gender as well. And it will be taken as a single feminine because it is ghair aqil. Al-mu'minatu qanitatun. Here again, al-mu'minatu, it is feminine plural, and here the descriptive noun is used as feminine plural as well. Al-muslimuna sadiquna. Again here, this is the plural jama muannas, jama muzakkar salim. So that is why it is agreeing with gender and number. So here, mubtada and khabar both agrees in gender and number. We can see al-kitabu mufidun, al-kitabani mufidani, al-kutubu mufidatun. So here you can see they all agree in the number and the gender. Al-mu'minatun qanitatun, al-mu'minatatani qanitatani, al-mu'minatu qanitatun. Al-muslimu sadiqun, al-muslimani sadiqani, al-muslimuna sadiquna. So they both agree in number gender. So this is a very important rule about mubtada and khabar, that they agree and match in properties. So what we have learned about Jumla ismiyya and Fa'liya, that a Jumla ismiyya starts with an ism and Jumla Fa'liya starts with a fa'il. So here we learned that a single word can give away a meaning of a full sentence, and that is a fa'il, and it will be called a complete Jumla Fa'liya. Like in English, he wrote, she wrote, they wrote, but in Arabic, we'll just have a single word to denote a jumla, and that will be called as jumla failure because it is starting with a fail. There's an example, kataba, this is a past tense, and we know that the basic form just takes the three root letters, fa kalima, ain kalima, and lam kalima, and they don't have the additional letters added to it, and it is just the simple form to denote a faile madi, the past tense, which means he wrote. And itself is telling us, this sentence telling us that action has been done in past, and notice that it includes the verb, the pronoun, and the tense. And it has a hidden pronoun, that is huwa. Kataba, he wrote, so it has the verb, wrote, yeah, it has the pronoun he, and the tense as well, that is the past tense. And we also learned that the verbs in English are not equal to, and they are not equal to afal, because verbs do not include the doer of the action in English. Again, we learned that fa'il has two terms of tenses, fa'il madi and fa'il mudari, and we have been learning about fa'il madi a lot. We have learned lots of things about fa'il madi. Inshallah, we are going to learn more about fa'il madi and fa'il mudari. So here there is another type, that is fa'il that is command, that is also made from fa'il mudari, and we have learned this in our serve section. Jumla fa'liya, again, it has two main things or components, fa'il and fa'il, and we can add more like mafool, zarf, and other things. So here we learned that mubtada and khabar, they should be marfu in state, and we also learned that in jumla fa'liya, the fa'il is marfu. We know that the khabar matches with the mubtada, but it should remain nakira, while the mubtada is always marifa, that is definite. Jumla fa'liya example begins, as we know, that begins with the verb. وَقَتَلَ دَاوُدُ جَالُوتَ. We know that the file should be in the state of marfu, in the state of rafa, it should be marfu. That is why you can see adama on Dawood, because Dawood here is a file, and detail, the remaining, the rest of the sentence is a maful or a detail, and it should be in the state of nasab, and it should be mansub, and you can see the fatha here to Jalut, and you know that the Dawood killed Jalut. Here Jalut is a object or a maful. Fail, file, and maful. This is a complete jumla failure. And there can be more details, and inshallah we are going to learn in advance NAHW. Here again, mubtada and khabar, jumla ismiyya, jumla failure, fail, file, and maful. We know that they both are marfu, mubtada and khabar, while our file is also marfu. Our maful and zarf should be mansoob. And here khabar is nakira and mubtada is marifa. We learned that there are, we know there are three kalma. The main kalma, they serve as the variable, and that are fa kalima, ain kalima, and lam kalima for faile madi. And we can say that like kataba, we can say the kaf will be our fa kalima, ain will be the ta will be our ain kalima, and ba will be our lam kalima. So this is how you're going to represent your letters. Fa, ain, and lam kalima, the basic, or you can say any root letter will be fa, ain, and lam kalima. And according to that, we have been learning that there are so many families we are learning in ourselves, and they have the basic 3 root letters. We learned about this chart, our Feli Madi chart. We have, Alhamdulillah, know about it. We know that what are the file here, what are her tanis, and what is nun niswa. We know that after nun niswa or this hunna, we should be careful about this sukoon on every lam, or you can say the lam kalima of all the other siyas. Huwa fa'ala, huma fa'ala, hum fa'alu, hiya fa'alat. And remember that this is a File Madi Maloom chart, means where a file is known. Don't forget it. It is very important when we'll be learning about File Madi Majhool, when a file is not known. Huwa fa'ala, huma fa'ala, hum fa'alu, hiya fa'alat. Here, just remember about the sukoon, that here or the she version will have a sukoon on this last letter, and this is not a file, will be here the file is here, and ta is a half ta tanis, just to denote that this file is used for feminine gender. هما فعلتا هن فعلنا أنت فعلت أنتما فعلتما أنتم فعلتم أنت فعلتي أنتما فعلتما أنتن فعلتن أنا فعلت نحن فعلنا. And I hope that you all have memorized this chart for Fa'ali Madi. And if you have not, I encourage you to please memorize, because memorization for these charts is very important as we will progress in our studies. Again, the same chart for Nasara, he had Nasara, Nasara, Nasaru, Nasarat, Nasarata, Nasarna. Anta Nasarta, Antuma, Nasartuma, Antum Nasartum, Anti Nasarti, Antuma Nasartuma, Antunna, Nasartunna, Ana Nasartu, Nahnu, Nasarna. Again, the Fa'il Madi, Malum chart for Kataba, he wrote, and this is, as I mentioned, that Fa'il Malum is an active chart, it is not passive, and this is Fa'il Madi chart. So Fa'il Madi, again, this is the basic chart for Family 1, as we will inshallah learn. In our sub-studies, we are going to start Family 1, and just remember that this is Fa'il Malum when a file is known, and we know that here he is a file, Huwa is a file, and it is known here. This is Fa'il Madi chart, the active chart. Kataba, kataba, katabu, katabat, katabata, katabna, katabta, katabtuma, katabtum, katabti, katabtuma, katabtunna, katabtu, katabna. So, inshallah, I hope that you will be fluent enough to just recite this sub-study chart. Fa'il Madi Malum. So there is some info about Fa'il Madi Malum. Look at the end of the word to find the doer. We have already learned about it. Doer pronoun is attached to the end of all the file except in the case of one here, where we just know that there is an inside doer, huwa, and here. Kataba, katabat. They are also called the inside doer, as I told you. We know that all the pronouns comes in the category of ism marifa, therefore they are all proper nouns. Just remember that they are all proper nouns. And we know that the pronouns are mabni, hence, like here, mabni al-fatha, mabni al-fatha, mabni al-dhamma. So here you will all notice that they are all mabni, means their i'rab are fixed. So all the past tense forms of pronouns have fixed endings, means they do not change their endings, and that is why they are mabni afal. Here, just file, maful, and zarf. Here, as I mentioned, that we can add more details to our jumla failure. A jumla failure always starts with a fail, and there are more details to the jumla failure. Here, we learned that how the pronouns or the damair used as objects or maful. Here you can see these are all damair. Nasara, you know that this is jumla failure added with and a maf'ul is added to it. Nasara, this is a complete sentence. Nasara, he helped, and who, him is added to it. Jumla fa'liya with its maf'ul. Fa'il, fa'il, and maf'ul. Nasaraka, he helped you. Nasarani, he helped me. Nasarana, he helped us. Nasarahu, they both helped him. We know that this alif snain is to show that this is a dual form. Nasaruhu, they helped him. Darabna, he hit us. Darabtumuhu, Wawlishwa, we know that it's an extra wow added to this sentence just for the fluency. All of you hit him. Sa'altumuhu, all of you asked him. There are some um, examples you can see for Jumla failure, and you can see here these all sentences are starting with a fail. That is why they are called Jumla failure, and we have already done this in the previous sessions. So here, when Jumla failure is used as a khabar, we will apply the rules of Mubtada and Khabar. And as I told you, the the revision of Jumla ismiyya was very important because we will be using the rules for Jumla ismiyya to this, because when Jumla failure and Jumla ismiyya combines, how we are going to write it. So here we are going to learn that we already learned that when this is Jumla failure, when a sentence is starting with a Jumla failure. So dakhala Madinatu, you know that here it is starting, he entered the city, it is starting with a verb. But what if it is not starting with a verb and it is starting with a Jumla ismiyya? So when a Jumla ismiyya is khabar, we are going to apply the rules for the Mubtada and Khabar, and that means they will match in the number and the gender. So here, number and gender. So here you can see al-muallimu. You know that the mubtada should be marfu. So here you can see the mubtada is marfu, and I highlighted this last letter to emphasize that it should be marfu it in the state of rafa. This is mubtada because this is jumla ismiya. You call it a jumla ismiya because it is starting with a jumla ismiya. Even if you can see a jumla failure inside it, but you will call this whole structure a jumla ismiya. Why? Because this sentence is starting with an ism. All right. So you should remember that if a sentence is starting with an ism, whatever you see after it, you don't have to worry about it. If it is starting with an ism, it will be a jumla ismiya. And here it is mubtada and khabar. So we are learning that when a jumla failure is a khabar, or we are going to see, we are going to apply the rules for jumla ismiya. That means a jumla failure here, that is a khabar right now, it will match a ism or jumla ismiya in number and gender. So you can see al-muallimu is singular in gender, in the number, and it is the masculine. The gender is masculine. So here, dakhala, he entered. So here, al-muallimu dakhala, you know that the mubtada and khabar. Now here, khabar is not a descriptive, just like we learned here. You can see, as I mentioned here, a khabar was a descriptive noun, right? All right, they both were ism. So here it is a descriptive noun. It is a descriptive noun. But now instead of this noun, we are using a jumla failure here. But it will be called a khabar because it is used in place of the khabar. A jumla failure is in place of the khabar. So that is why it will be khabar, and it should be a matching in gender and number. So al-muallimu dakhala. So here jumla failure is a khabar. Here this is mubtada and this is khabar. Al-muallimani dakhala. Here you can see again this is musanna and we can see alif isnain here. Al-muallimani dakhala. Al-muallimani dakhala. All right. So here this is again dual form and this is again the dual form. Dakhala, dakhala. All right. Here al-muallimuna dakhalu. Al-muallimuna dakhalu. Una sound again. This is home version. And here you can see we have used the home version. It is matching in gender and number. And here these are all this right column is all our mubtada, which is starting with the jumla ismiyya or the ism. And these are all our khabar, which is our jumla fi'liya. You can see dakhala, dakhala, dakhalu, dakhalat, dakhalata, dakhalna. Al-muallimatu dakhalat. Here it is here version, so we are using the here version here. So here jumla failure, and this is our whole structure is a jumla ismiya because this is starting with the ism. Al-muallimatani dakhalata. Al-muallimatu dakhalna. Dakhalna here because it is the hunna version, so we are using the hunna version of dakhala. So again, when jumla failure is khabar, it should match in gender and number to our mubtada, and you can see how the structure is formed for jumla ismiya, this whole structure. But inside a jumla ismiya, we see a jumla failure itself. Alhamdulillah. So I hope that this concept is clear to you, that we see this whole jumla ismiya, and inside this we can see a jumla failure as a khabar. But for the i'rab, this is a jumla a mubtada and a khabar. But this whole is jumla ismiya, while a khabar is a jumla failure. All right. So and remember that it should this khabar or jumla failure should match with the ism in number and gender. See the example from the Quran from Surah Nuh. Wallahu ja'ala lakum al-arda bisatan. Here, and Allah has made for you the earth an expanse. This is harf atf. As you know that Allah lafzul jalala here is our mubtada and ja'ala here is our khabar. And for the Arab, as inshallah we are going to start our Arab session soon inshallah, but remember for now that because here our jumla failure is in place of khabar, because we know the structure of jumla ismiya, it is mubtada and khabar, and here it is not descriptive noun used, but here jumla failure is used. So because here jumla failure is in place of the khabar, we will call it fi mahalli rafa khabar. في محل رفع خبر المبتدا, and this is our المبتدا Allah لفظ الجلالة, and here جعل is because it should be, I know that khabar is always in the state of rafa, it is always rafa, khabar is always rafa, and marfu we can say, so it will be called fi mahalli rafa, because we know that jala is past tense pehle madi, and it should end with a fatha. So because you can get confused that it is fatha, should be nasab. It is not nasab, because we know that khabar will always be marfu in the state of rafa. So that is why we will say fi mahalli rafa. All right. So remember this, and inshallah we are going to learn, and we'll inshallah we'll start with Arab. So we'll learn that how we'll do more examples to do this concept. I know that it can be overwhelming right now, but inshallah we'll get hold of this concept. And just remember that right now that it is because it is in place of the khabar, so it should be and khabar is always in the state of rafa, so it should be fi mahalli rafa, even if you see a fatha here. Wallahu ja'ala. So this is a jumla. This whole structure is a jumla ismiya because it's starting with an ism, but inside any jumla ismiya we see a jumla failure. Correct? So it is when jumla failure is used as a khabar. All right. So here waw is harf atf or artifac. Leave the rest, inshallah, when we'll do the Arab, we'll see what these all details to it. So alhamdulillah, we are done with the examples from the Quran. So here again, see one more thing. When jumla failure is khabar, we will apply the rules of mubtada and khabar. And when mubtada is a pronoun or damir, how we are going to see that. So here again, this same chart, but it is a whole sentence here. Mubtada and khabar again. So here when mubtada is a pronoun, the damir, Here, huwa fa'ala. This is a whole complete sentence. Here, this is a pronoun, damir, and it is again Jumla ismiyya because we will consider Jumla ismiyya because it is not starting with a fail. Here, this is a mubtada and this is a khabar. But here, our mubtada is damir. All right, it is not an ism. But all pronouns are considered as nouns, so it will be a Jumla ismiyya. Pronoun, as you can see, there is a noun, so they are all noun and they are mabni. So here, huwa fa'ala is a complete sentence, Jumla ismiya, and inside Jumla ismiya is a khabar, and that is a Jumla failure. So this is a mubtada and this is a khabar. This is a pronoun and this is a Jumla failure. And the whole structure is Jumla ismiya, and this is a Jumla failure inside a Jumla ismiya. Here again, when mubtada is a pronoun, again huma fa'ala. Mubtada khabar. Khabar is a jumla failure. Both of them did. It is a complete whole sentence that which has a jumla ismiya and jumla failure both, and it is a complete sentence having a complete sense, making sense. Both of them did. Hum fa'alu, all of them did. Hiya fa'alat, she did. Here, this is mubtada, this is khabar. Both of them did. Huma fa'alata. Mubtada and khabar. Hunna fa'alna. All of them did. Mubtada and khabar. This is a file and it is called Nun Niswa. Anta fa'alta, again a jumla ismiya, and here it is mubtada and this is khabar, and this is khabar is a jumla failure. Antuma fa'altuma, again mubtada and khabar. Antum fa'altum, mubtada and khabar. Anti fa'alti, mubtada and khabar. Mubtada is a pronoun here, and fa'alti is a jumla failure. Antuma fa'altuma, antunna fa'altunna, mubtada and khabar. Ana fa'altu, mubtada and khabar. Nahnu fa'alna, mubtada and khabar. Alhamdulillah. We can see this jumla failure as when it is mubtada and khabar, and when a mubtada is a noun. There is a very beautiful example in Quran in Surah Anbiya. قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا أأنت فعلت هذا. So here أنت فعلت, you can see here this is a jumla ismiya, and inside jumla ismiya is a khabar, that is jumla failure. They said, have you done this to our gods? So have you done this? Have you done this? Anta fa'alta haza. So, O Ibrahim, this is about the story of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, when the people asked him when he broke the idols. So, qalu anta fa'alta haza. So here, anta fa'alta, you can see here, anta fa'alta, this is used here. This is our jumla ismiya, mubtada and khabar, and this khabar is our jumla failure. Alhamdulillah. So this is it for now. Inshallah, I hope that the concepts are clear. You can review the this lesson as many times as possible, and whenever you know that there is a problem, you can repeat the session and you can revise all the concepts so you can get the picture clearly. Alhamdulillah. So I'll see you in the next session. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I'll see you inshallah in the next session. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.